Yeah, you can. Ryan trained with us yesterday, and the others two didn't yet.
Are you expecting them? What's the time scale on them?
Yeah, as I said many times, in the end phase of the injury, things can go slow down a bit, and things can go faster. Let's wait and see where they are. But like I said, Ryan trained with us for the first time yesterday. Will train with us today, and then we're gonna make the call if he's able to start, yes or no. And the other two are probably 99.9% sure not in the squad Saturday.
You talked about squad depth after the game against Crystal Palace. What is it you think you're missing? What do you think that you need?
We miss nothing, so I'm happy that you asked this question. I'm completely happy with the team, with all the quality we have, and I'm also completely convinced by the strategy and the policy we have. But that makes it the issue, if you could talk about an issue, is that not all of them have had a proper pre-season or have been injured during the season. So then when 3 or 4 are injured, you go back to 16 players. So I am a firm believer in the fact that 20, 21 players are enough, but you have to keep them fit, as we did last season. And we are struggling a bit more to keep them fit for, in my opinion, obvious reasons, because Alex is a great example of this. Came to us, I think, the 1st of September. A few others have missed out on pre-season. A few others have had their injuries in pre-season. So it has been more difficult than last season to keep them all available. And if then a few of them are not available, then it comes down a lot towards the same players. And maybe last season we were more lucky, or now we're a bit more unlucky. Again, no excuses for our results before people are going to say this again. But we had to play a lot of away games with only 2 days rest in between. And that would have been a difficult schedule for every player last season. And I mean a player that has been fit throughout pre-season, throughout the whole season. But that has not been our situation. And then I think you have to manage it, because upcoming week is again free in 7 or 8 days. So there's nothing to do with the squad depth. It has to do with how we've went through the season in terms of injuries and availability, and players available to play every single time 2 games in 3 days.
Finally, for me, there's been a lot of speculation about contract negotiations for you. Are there talks ongoing at the moment? Can you tell us?
This is the last question I was expecting. I think my focus could be completely on getting Liverpool back on winning ways, and that's my first answer. And the second answer is that contract talks, if they are even there, are never. We never speak about this here. But let us first start to win again. And that's where my main focus is on.
Arne, you mentioned there about the injuries that your team is suffering with and have suffered with across the first few weeks of the season, and the fact that the schedule is as demanding as it ever is. With the issues that you've got at the moment, how are you going about trying to solve these problems? How difficult is it to solve them in season with the injuries and with the number of games that you've got as well?
Just handling the situation as it is. So Alex is. Let me use Alex as an example. He had to do his pre-season inside the season, and people can then argue, why do you play him? But yeah, if I don't play him, I don't have him available, and we need to have him available, because otherwise I have to play Hugo every single game. And I was just with Owen Hargreaves when he made the comparison between the two of them, and he showed that both of them, for another reason by the way, but he showed me over there that both of them played. One played 34 games last season, the other one 34. And we play 60 over here. So that's why I need to get Alex as soon as I can into playing as many games as he can. And that has been something not only with him but with a few others as well. So Jeremy Frimpong has been in and out with injuries quite a few times. Same with Conor Bradley. So if one is out, the other one has to play more. That's why I've played maybe also Dominic Szoboszlai a few times in that position. So that has been something what every team, by the way, has. So it's, again, not an excuse for us, because every team works with this. But what was a bit different than than, for example, for me last season, is that last season they all had 1 year Premier League experience as a minimum, and they were all fit when we started, and they stayed fit. And now they weren't all fit from the start, and then it's also then you have to some players have to play maybe even more than you want them to do, which is a risk for them getting injured as well. But it's just the situation as it is, and we have still more than enough good players available to play the game on Saturday, to play the game on Tuesday, and to play the game on Sunday. But I have to take care of a few of them, and that's why I made the decision not to play 7 or 8 players 2 days ago.
When you look at the run of results you've had, I know you've never had a run like this in your career before. How much are you learning about yourself and your capabilities as a manager to adapt to this sort of situation and deal with all these problems that we're talking about?
Maybe learning comes then a little bit later, because now you're mainly focused on how can I change, and you always evaluate the decisions you've made, the choices you've made, or the things you've done afterwards. And my focus is now not so much on trying to look back on what has happened, but more on how can we get a very good performance on Saturday. And so yeah, maybe the learning part is going to come a little bit later, but for now the focus is on the future, and is on how can we get a good result, or at least a good performance against Villa, because normally a good performance from this quality players leads to a good result.